My wife and I were seeing them a lot. To have that experience of saying goodnight to somebody and having them leave and then find out the next day that they're gone, I think I was in shock.
When Conan O'Brien finally spoke publicly about the death of his friend Rob Reiner, everyone was broken.
Knew Rob and Michelle, and then increasingly got closer and closer to them. And I was seeing them a lot. My wife and I were seeing them a lot. To have that experience of saying goodnight to somebody and having them leave and then find out the next day that they're gone, we talk about, I think I was in shock for quite a while afterwards. There's no other word for it. It's just very,
After weeks of silence, he admitted what many people close to sudden loss understand too well, that sometimes there are no perfect sentences for something that feels unreal. He described being in shock, not the loud, frantic kind of shock, but the quiet kind that lingers, the kind that makes ordinary days feel slightly off balance.
oh, it's so awful. It's just so awful. And I think about how Rob felt about things that are happening in the country, how involved he was, how much he put himself out there.
Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle Singer Reiner, had attended Conan's holiday gatherings shortly before their deaths. That detail alone made everything harder to process.
Where's the dad? I have to go walk to the guy. Conan O'Brien, do you have him?
One evening, they were present, laughing, talking, part of the familiar rhythm of friends coming together. Then, suddenly, they were gone. Conan later reflected that it felt impossible to comprehend how someone so alive, so engaged, could disappear overnight. He called them lovely people, a phrase that sounds simple but carries depth when spoken by someone who knew them personally. For Conan, the reaction was not immediate public grief, it was inward. He has always been someone who processes emotions privately before speaking about them. When he finally did talk, he admitted that the shock stayed with him longer than he expected. There is something uniquely disorienting about seeing someone one day and learning the next that they are no longer here. The mind struggles to catch up. It replays conversations. It questions small details. It tries to find logic in something that has none. He explained that he felt stunned for quite a while afterward. Shock, he said, was the only word that truly fit. That word may sound simple, but behind it is a storm of confusion, sadness, and disbelief.
To have that voice go quiet in an instant is still hard for me to comprehend.
Shock can feel like walking through fog. You continue moving, continuing working, continuing speaking, but everything feels slightly distant. The timing made it even heavier. Conan had already been navigating personal grief after losing both of his parents. Grief does not disappear just because life continues. It sits quietly in the background. And when another loss happens, it can reopen places in the heart that never fully healed. For Conan, Rob's death was not an isolated event. It came during a season already marked by reflection and mourning.
The body of work, I think it's 7 movies that Rob Reiner made in quick succession that are classics. Now, to be thought of as a great director, I think if you can make one great movie, that's impressive. It's an almost impossible feat. To make 2 means that you're one of the greats. To make 7 in like a 9-year, 10-year, 11-year period is insanity. With Spinal Tap alone, if that had been the only thing he ever did, he influenced my generation enormously. I mean, that was in comedy, Spinal Tap, when it came out, I was in college, and it was like seeing, it was splitting the atom moment. You have those moments where, you see something truly remarkable.
Friends have said that Conan has been living with a kind of quiet heaviness since the news. He continues to prepare for major public appearances, continues to write and rehearse, continues to show up professionally, but there is an awareness in him now, a deeper understanding of how fragile everything is. He has spoken before about how comedy can feel trivial in moments of tragedy, yet also essential. Laughter does not erase grief, but it helps people breathe. What seems to have affected him most was not only losing a respected filmmaker, but losing a voice. Rob Reiner was outspoken, engaged, full of opinions about film, politics, and culture. He was someone who believed in storytelling as a force for connection. Conan reflected on how strange it feels that a voice so present in public life could go quiet so suddenly.
And another person I'd put in that category is we just lost.
Rob Reiner's legacy in Hollywood is impossible to ignore. His films shaped entire generations. Stories like Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, and When Harry Met Sally became more than movies. They became emotional landmarks in people's lives. They were the films families watched together, the films quoted endlessly, the films that reminded audiences of friendship, love, and loyalty. Reiner had a gift for balancing humor with sincerity, a balance Conan himself has always tried to achieve in his own work. Perhaps that is part of why this loss feels so personal for him. There is a shared spirit between them. Both men understand how comedy and heart can live side by side. Both built careers on timing, rhythm, and emotional truth. Losing Rob is not only losing a friend, it is losing someone who helped define the tone of an entire creative generation. Conan's tribute has not been loud. It has not been filled with grand speeches or dramatic gestures. Instead, it has been steady and sincere. In speaking about Rob, he focused on kindness, on warmth, on the feeling of being around someone who genuinely cared. He did not dwell on tragedy, he chose to remember life.
Business, you lost your father at an early age. It's a very sad story. He died performing at a Friars Club.
Yeah.
I talk about it and it's hard for me. When I first visited the site where Medgar Evers was killed, which is where we shot the reenactment of it, right on the very site, and they were taking me through it. I stood on the driveway at the spot that he was murdered and I started crying. And, it's very overpowering. It takes you over. And just the thought of a man being, killed in front of his family like that, and having a couple of sons myself, the thought of being taken away from my sons like that, it's just so profoundly disturbing that, and that feeling permeated the whole making of the movie.